primary coverage, there's a huge difference between primary and secondary. With primary coverage, the insurance is going to pick up first, and that's the TravelX policy. Okay, with the secondary coverage, you have to go to your own personal medical, file those claims, and then the secondary coverage will kick in. So let me tell you a little bit more about how that works. Okay, about a year ago, there was, in fact, it was on the news. It was on the regular news, like CNN. There was a couple that actually got off on a cruise ship, and he wound up in the hospital in an intensive care in Mexico. Okay, they had some kind of secondary coverage because they took the cruise line insurance, and he wound up with a $15,000 bill. So what happened is that they actually wouldn't let him leave the hospital. They came to him and they said, you know what, you need to pay your bill. They didn't have enough credit to pay their actual bill, and so they said, well, you're going to need to stay in the hospital until you can come up with enough credit. And actually what happened is that they decided that they were just going to make a run for it. And the hospital actually tackled them and took them back to their room in Mexico and said, look, you're not going anywhere until you pay this bill. And that's actually what happened to these customers. So they were actually on the news saying, you know, how horrible they were treated at the hospital. And actually that's how it happens, is the hospital will not let you leave no matter how much your bill is until you pay your bill in full. So if you have a major emergency, say it's a heart attack, a stroke, something of that sense, you can go to a hospital in Europe, and they may even want a guarantee even for you to even be seen at that hospital. That's first and foremost. They may say, you know what, I want 10 grand before you can even see a doctor. With TravelX Insurance, once they contact TravelX Insurance, we would even pay that guarantee on behalf of your customer. Okay. So we're going to pay that upfront guarantee for them to get into the hospital. After they're seen in the hospital, we're actually then going to pay the bill 100%. With secondary coverage, what the customer would have to do is pull out enough credit cards to pay that bill, call home, find out if mom and dad has enough credit, but across the board, they would have to make sure that they paid the bill in full before they leave. Now, with that said, we're talking about major emergencies. We're talking about strokes, heart attacks, those types of things. When we're talking about a bug bite, a sprained ankle, or an ear infection, it would be on a reimbursement with TravelX too. You would go to the hospital, be seen at the hospital, come home, and you would just file a claim. Those are very minor, dollars versus the medical evacuation. But TravelX, if it was a true emergency, a stroke, a heart attack, those really big things that can happen to you while on a trip, we're going to pay dollar for dollar the full expense until you arrive back into the United States. The terms and conditions can always change, and for full policy details, you can always either go to your website and click on the link, or they can go to my website and they can actually go to the policy details to see all of the policy details.